Donald Trump sounding off on the FBI reopening its investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails.
For all of the people that have suffered for doing so much less, including just recently, four-star General James Cartwright, General Petraeus, and many others, perhaps finally justice will be done.
Well, many others, that's what we're about to get to. Until now, there has been a double standard for Hillary Clinton when it comes to these classified documents. One man thinks so, U.S. Navy sailor, that's Christian Saucier. He went to jail for taking photos in a classified area of a submarine back in 2009. No evidence he ever shared those photos. Saucier's mother, Kathleen, visited her son in prison yesterday as the news about Hillary Clinton broke, and she joins us now. Kathleen, good to see you this morning. You hadn't planned to visit your son yesterday after you learned about this news, right?
No, we had a scheduled visit. We were going, myself, his wife, and his daughter, one-year-old daughter, were going to visit, and I heard about the story breaking from someone that sent me a text. So I had about 15 minutes with my son before I was asked to be on Risk and Reward last night, and I was able to let him know that, you know, as Donald Trump said, possibly justice will be served. I'm still not convinced. There isn't a double standard, so I'm hopeful that people will step up to do what's right and hold Hillary Clinton and her staff to the same standards they hold all American patriots in the United States.
1 year in prison for mishandling classified info is what your son got. What did your son say when he learned of the news about this latest revelation about these emails on Uma Abedin's computers and Anthony Weiner tied to all of this? What did he say to you?
What he said to me was, and I'm going to get tearful a little bit, was, you know, Mom, I thought I stepped up to join the Navy to serve my country, but maybe this is how I'm serving my country, is raising awareness of the double standard so that all people like myself and others who proudly serve, as well as other patriotic Americans, will be held to the same standard as those that should serve and protect us, such as Hillary Clinton is attempting to do by running for President of the United States. We started a Facebook page, American Patriots Against Double Standards, and it's all about other people and their story, and I hope that people will get on that page and share it and like it and follow our story. We found out yesterday that I found out that my son will not be able to have any lessened sentence in federal prison because of the way the judge sentenced him. He has to do the full year. We're disappointed in that, but we expect and acknowledge that my son has accepted responsibility for taking 6 photos when he was in. He's serving his time, and I'm proud of him. As many have said, I'm proud of his service and who he is as an American.
Let's take a look at, so these are the photos that your son took in the submarine. What happened to him after this, and what are these pictures of? Did he ever share them?
Right, so I can't see them from where I'm at, but I'm expecting that you're putting up the photos that were disclosed during the sentencing hearing. So he took photos, 6 of them in a classified area. One thing I want to state is in 2009, when those photos were taken, there was no cell phone ban on submarines during that time. Many other sailors were taking photos as well. Actually, 2 sailors were brought to light during the sentencing time that they received a reduction in rank and a fine of $550. And one of them has now been recently promoted to an officer position. So there's obviously a double standard within the military as well.
Did what Hillary Clinton...
My son did not share those photos.
He didn't share those photos, and he also destroyed them. Is what Hillary Clinton did, in your mind, worse than what your son did?
They're both mishandling classified information. Both of them had classified information on an instant device. My son's was at the lowest level of classification, 6 photos, Hillary Clinton, multiple emails that were transmitted to who knows where and who knows who saw those photos. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, she's dangerous. She's dangerous to our national security, and she is definitely unsafe and dangerous to the United States of America if she were to become President of the United States.
All right, Kathleen Saucier, mother of the sailor Petty Officer First Class Christian Saucier, who's doing 1 year in federal prison for those 6 photos. Kathleen, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Clayton. Please pray for our family. God bless America.
Thanks so much, Kathleen.
All right. Well, how do Donald Trump supporters feel about these latest revelations and how aggressively Donald Trump should push them? We're going to explore that now in a couple of different segments here. But first with Phil Robertson, the Duck Dynasty star, big supporter of Mr. Trump. He joins us out of Monroe, Louisiana. Very good to have you back, Phil. How you doing?
I'm doing good. No matter what they say about you, Cavuto, you know, even the size of your cranium.
Oh, don't
trust
do that.
me when I tell you, to us down here in Louisiana, you are, my man, the Italian stallion.
That is a promo right there, guys. Did we save that? All right, there we go. You know, when you were first talking about Hillary Clinton with me, one of the issues you would pound a lot was this issue of trustworthiness and the gnawing issues that keep coming up with her. This latest development, does it just add to that for you? I mean, you were not going to vote for anyway, but what do you tell those who are still on the fence? Do you just add this as an example? What do you do?
Think about this, Neil. You have a human being, one Hillary Clinton, that's decided the other day that she would get into the redeeming business. Stand flat-footed and tell half of America that they're irredeemable? Here's the deal. The last time I checked, there's one redeemer. See this right here? By the way, Neil, I showed this to Donald Trump. I didn't have but 15 minutes with him. I showed him these symbols, God becoming flesh. I told Donald Trump this. He died on a cross, Donald, for your sins. You have sinned, haven't you? And he said, yeah. I said, 3 days later, he was raised from the dead, therefore you can be raised. I said, don't miss this. We need God on our side. I said, you need to be born again. So Donald Trump heard the gospel, and I appreciated the fact that he listened. Faith comes from hearing the message, and I just gave you the message. I shared that with Mr. Trump. So
when did you share it with him?
About 3 or 4 weeks before they dragged up this stuff on him about making lewd comments.
Oh.
Look, there's no one in America who is without sin. So who's going to cast the first stone at anyone? So the bottom line is, Hillary needs to stay out of the redeeming business, and Mr. Trump needs to change his life. I gave him the reason why, faith in the gospel. Therefore, give the man some time. So, in my mind, once you step into God's shoes and start saying who's redeemable and who's not, that takes a lot of gall right there. That was a deal breaker.
But Phil, one of the
Donald's policy.
One of the things I'm going to ask you about that, when you talked about this with Donald Trump a few weeks ago, I guess before these revelations came out, he attacked, a lot of these women, maybe because he felt that the charges were curious as their timing. Do you think he should have done that, or should he have just dismissed it, moved on, but that he spent a great deal of time focusing on them and even their looks? Was that wise to do?
It was not wise. You have to remember, the guy's not a politician. Basically, he's the type we need. Look, he's right on immigration, solid conservative. He's right on beefing up the U.S. military. He's right on the Second Amendment. I wrote a list down. I'm a C-plus man there, Cavuto. I'm not like you. You're an A-plus man. I'm smarter than half of them. You're smarter than all of them. He's right on the Supreme Court justices. His policies are all, none of them are anti-biblical. He's against abortion. By the way, you say, Phil, would you vote for him if he was for the slaughter of 60 million human beings in their mother's wombs? I would never vote for anyone who's for that, ever. You say that'd be a deal breaker. We shouldn't practice perversion in the United States of America or anywhere else. It's a deadly disease that follows that behavior. Therefore, you say he's for traditional biblical marriage. If he wasn't, it would be a deal breaker. But all of his policies, from energy, I mean, look, if we have it, get it out of the ground and let's use it. Give me a break. Taxes, he would lower them, Hillary would raise them. Issue after issue, policy-wise, I'm in line with Donald Trump. Health care, get rid of Obamacare, let people choose what their doctor. So you go down that list and you look at it and you say, you know what? He holds staunch, conservative, And none of his policies, as far as I can tell, are anti-biblical. Because of that, I'm going for him. And these evangelicals that sit around there, well, you know, the lewd comments he made. If we go to dragging it, look, you look in my background, Cavuto, I know yours is squeaky clean. But you look in my background, you're going to come up with immorality on my part, drunkenness, smoking dope. Look, I was a heathen. Everybody's redeemable, and there's not but one redeemer. And trust me when I tell you, it's not a professional prevaricator such as Hillary Clinton. She's no redeemer. She's been there too long. We need to remove her and clean this mess up. And in my mind, Donald Trump is the only way out of this mess.
All right, so I guess I'll put you down as a maybe on Hillary Clinton.
That's, I don't think so. Her record, if you smell a skunk long enough, Cavuto, you keep smelling that skunk, you'll finally find the skunk, no matter how deep a hole they dig. So, no, she's out. Old and worn out, old stuff, Barack Obama all over again, and this whole thing's going to collapse around us unless America repents, turns to God. Give Trump time. The gospel has a way of eating at a man. There's power in it. Therefore, that's my story, dude, and I'm sticking to it, Mr. Italian Stallion.
Yeah. Well, you're a different kind of guest, I will say that. Phil Robertson, as you're speaking, I'm getting flooded with emails. Very good having you on again. And I'll let the big head comment go. But I think the TV just makes it look bigger. People who bump into me say your head isn't that big. I guess you don't believe that.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey,
you don't believe
let
that.
it just go right on by. Think about what they're saying about me, and what did they say about Jesus?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Phil Robertson, Duck Dynasty star, very frank purveyor of politics. What do you make of this early voting and what read you're getting from it? Of course, a lot of these early voters, with the exception of those today, did so before being apprised of these latest developments in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. What do you make of it?
Well, Neil, you know what? I commend those two ladies that you just had on because they're taking this voting process very seriously. And it sounded like they were going to vote for Hillary Clinton, but they said, whoa, wait a minute. We need to hold on. We're not prepared to vote today. We need to learn more about this. And what they need to learn is what's happening today is unprecedented for an FBI director with, at that time, 11, 12 days out from an election to come out and say that Hillary Clinton is under a federal investigation again is truly, there must be something strong there for Director Comey to do that.
Well, what do you think it is? Now, he
him.
tried to dial this back a little bit in his letter, and I must have read this thing, a dozen times. Although the FBI cannot yet assess whether or not this material may be significant, I cannot predict how long it will take us to complete the additional work. I believe it's important to update your committees, talking to these various committee chairmen in Congress, about our efforts in light of the previous testimony. So he knew what he was stepping into. He probably counted on ranking members of these committees coming back at him, like Elijah Cummings and John Conyers, to tell the world what he has. Hillary Clinton demanding that as well. Do you think he should? Do you think he shouldn't leave the world hanging?
You cannot jeopardize the integrity of a pending criminal investigation, nor does any prosecutor in this country, or especially the FBI. The FBI, they keep everything quiet until the conclusion of their investigation. But I have to commend him, though, for coming out again and saying there's more. They never anticipated, I'm sure, that when they got Weiner's computer, that they would find that couldn't be scrubbed because that was in the Fed's possession. And yet, looking at a child porn case, they come across emails from Huma Abedin and probably Secretary Clinton. And they must be extremely significant for 10 days now out of an election for them to open an investigation. Let me put it this way, Neil. If I went to apply for a job right now, I wanted to get a bar license in another state, and I listed I was under a federal investigation, I wouldn't get the job. You went to apply, you wouldn't get a job. Someone goes to get a real estate license, they wouldn't get a job. We, the American people, would not be able to get a job if we told our employer, and most applications now say that, are you under a federal investigation? Therefore, it's up to the American people now. They're the employers. And
Well,
they are considering hiring this woman for the highest office in the land.
I know, but to that point, do you agree with Congressman Cummings and Conyers that he should share that information? Let us know what it is.
Well, as a career prosecutor, though, you cannot jeopardize a pending investigation by sharing investigative materials during the course of the investigation. It speaks volumes that 10 days out they would open an investigation against her again.
Okay.
You know, and our Constitution, Neil, it speaks to this. Speaks to this, and I don't think our Constitution ever contemplated a candidate as